Hey, crafty besties, it's your crafty bestie Tabby. We have made it to Thursday this week, and I'm trying to decide what color that the outside of this journal should be. This is going to be in the front, and there's going to be, boom, like that, there's going to be a pocket. So kind of for you to get the idea, and it's going to cover like this. It's only going to come about halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way across the pages by the time you get all the signatures in. And there's the other one, so it's going to be just a little shorter. Yeah. Those are the back two signatures. We still have to decorate those. So I thought that we would do the outside, and this has to be the outside. Does it though? No, it doesn't. It does. It does. This has to be the outside. So since this has to be the outside, I thought we would try to paint it. And I'm going to try to scoot up a little further. Actually, what I'm going to try to do, don't get seasick, is fix it so that it's down here further. So this, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I'm tired, y'all. People are not nice to customer service representatives. Whoa, sorry. They are not. They're just not nice. People are not nice to customer service reps. I'm just going to throw that out there. If you have to have customer service for any reason, please be nicer than necessary to those poor people, because they do not get paid enough to put up with nonsense. And I'm going to be using my cheapy brush to spread this paint, because we're just going to paint on paper, and we're just going to paint however we want to and cover up all the things from Amazon on here. And we're going to cover up everything anyway, but I want to just, I'm tired, and sometimes this is the best therapy for everything in the world that is wrong. Just paint. Just paint. And I'm going to try to do it so that I can just not paint on all my stuff, but perhaps paint on the paper. But you know, sometimes it just feels good to pour the paint out and then spread the paint out with your paintbrush. I mean, some people, when they're painting and they're making a cover for a journal and they're going to use paint for the background for the cover, they're very methodical and very paint this and that. And I'm just like, let's pour it out. Let's get it on here. I just want to get paint on paper, because it's paper and it's acrylic paint that I'm using. So the paint's just going to suck and soak into the paint. The paper's going to suck it in, because this paper is very dry and porous. And this paint is acrylic. I mean, that's it. It's acrylic paint. It's just going to go into the paper. And if y'all are wondering if I'm worried because I'm getting it on my mat, I'm not worried about this mat. This mat is older than Methuselah. And if you don't know who Methuselah is, you all are missing a good story in Genesis. Methuselah was the man in the Bible who lived the longest of anybody ever. He lived to be 969 years old. So, okay, it's an exaggeration to say that this mat is older than Methuselah, because it is obviously not 969 years, because they did probably make this 969 years ago. They probably had the raw materials to make it, but that's just not something they did 969 years ago. Because they didn't have people just randomly painting on Amazon packaging back in Genesis before the flood. Yeah, Methuselah also was Noah's great-grandfather. Or was it his great-great-grandfather? Y'all look it up and comment it to me below, because my brain's too tired to remember if Methuselah was Noah's grandfather or great-great-grandfather or great-grandfather. But Methuselah was one of Noah's great-grandpeople. And I told y'all a little of my trauma in the last video. And I didn't tell you my trauma for sympathy. I'm telling you my trauma because if I can survive it, anybody can. Anybody can. And I think you're an anybody. If you're hearing my voice right this minute, you are an anybody. And you can recover no matter how bad the trauma was. You can do it. But you can't do it by yourself. Did you know that? You cannot recover from trauma on your own. It takes a tribe of people to come along beside you and help you. I have yet to meet one person who has ever overcome trauma completely, 100% by themselves. And I'm going to tell you this. I am grateful for the people in my life who have helped me overcome my trauma, because they are the real heroes. I was in a really narcissistic relationship. It was very toxic. And for 30 years. It was very toxic, and I didn't even realize how toxic it was. And I didn't even realize dude was playing the long game. Because it was, you know, I'm going to tell you, it was, it was just a slow fade. It was a slow burn. But there were red flags that I should have seen. He didn't want me to be around my friends. He was jealous when I would get around my family or talk to my family. And guys, if your significant other is controlling who you talk to, you need to get a new significant other immediately. If they control where you go, what you do, what you wear, control is not what you do in a partnership. What you do in a partnership is you push the other person to be the best version of themselves that they can be. You pray for them, you love them, you lift them up. You do those things. You don't tear them down and insult and belittle them. You don't belittle them to your children. And all of those things happened to me. And while I'm not grateful that it happened, I'm grateful that I am recovering. So look, this is what the front cover of this journal is going to look like. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that if you're going through this, there are people who will help you. Now, if you have a partner who says, I'm going to let y'all watch me work on cleaning some of this off now. If you have a partner who tells you, nobody cares about you, you're crazy, nobody will believe you anyway, trust me when I tell you, people will believe you, and people already see and know. They're just afraid to say anything. Because after I separated from my ex-husband, people came out of the woodwork to say to me, how did you deal with that? How in the world did you put up with that? I remember when he said such and such and such and such, and you just took it in stride. You just went on about your business. I don't know if I could have put up with that. And I'm like, well, why didn't you say something? And they're like, well, we figured you knew. Well, what I thought was that I was hiding it from people. You're never hiding it from people. People know. People already know. Either they don't know what to say or they don't want to get involved. But your true friends will get involved and they will come for you. Let me tell you, when I got left at a McDonald's / Pilot kind of truck stop place in a city that I had never been to before, God gave me 365 miracles. One miracle, one physical solid miracle, every single day that first year. And the first miracle was, it was a Sunday morning, and the person who came to get me never checks Facebook on Sunday morning because their husband is a pastor. And nobody, if you don't know, you don't know. But if you know and you've been around preachers' families or you've been around church, I'm going to take my pokey tool and put it away. You know, you don't want to check Facebook on Sunday morning. But she did that Sunday. Because that's the only way that I had to contact anybody was by Facebook Messenger. And that was the only way that I could get a message to anybody. Because I didn't have my phone. Because he made sure I didn't have my phone. I just had the clothes on my back and the little bit of clothes I had in a bucket. And it was very sad. But I know that God was protecting me, just like I know He is taking care of you today. And look at this beautiful blue paint on my hands. It's so pretty. I'm going to wash it off here in just a minute. But I want you to know something. No matter how dark the situation looks, and we're just going to lay this back over on the desk so it can dry properly. No matter how dark your circumstances, no matter how bad it looks, God is in control and He has you in the palm of His hand. And if nobody told you today, I want you to remember that you matter. You are important and you are enough. And your crafty bestie Tabby, I love you. And I hope to see you in the next video. Mwah!